Update, Nick. Okay, I'd like to call this County of Huron Library Board meeting to order Wednesday, May 14th, 2025 at 9 a.m. Library Board meetings are available live through Zoom, and recordings may be posted online on County of Huron's YouTube channel. You may be seen and or heard as part of these broadcasts, and your name, comments, and or presentation materials will become part of the public record. Looking for a mover and seconder for the approval of the agenda for today's meeting. Patricia, seconded by anyone? Jane, thank you. Any questions regarding the agenda? Call the question. All in favor? Okay, carried. Does anyone wish to declare a pecuniary interest at this time in the general nature thereof? Not seeing anybody. Move on to the approval of the previous minutes from our March 20th, 2025 meeting. Do I have a mover for that? Mr. Becker moves, Warden Heffer seconds. Any questions regarding those minutes? Call the question. All in favor? Okay. Presentations, we have central team update from Michelle Carter. Hi, Michelle. The floor is yours.
Okay, there it is. So we've got a little slideshow. So I'm from central team, which is Clinton and Zurich branches. Next slide, please. Or do I do that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, there it is. Central team. So you can see central team is two branches, Clinton and Zurich. So it's a nice example of an older historical library and a brand new build. They're beautiful libraries and enjoy working in both of them. Next slide, please. So central team, I have a wonderful team. As you can see, they have a lot of fabulous qualities that make them excellent library workers and an asset to the community. Next slide, please. So this is the content of my team. There's me, of course, Gina DeJong, who is the newest member of our team, and she's a real inspiration. She just decided she wanted to work for a library system. So she went ahead and took courses online, earned her accreditation, and then she applied for central team, and we welcomed her into the team, and she's been fabulous. She's so creative, she's easy to train, and she's just a great person to be around. Nancy Fisher-Snedden, who is also wonderful. She is an accomplished interviewer. So she will be doing the interview with Danny Ramadan for Pride Month, and she does a fantastic job. And she's super creative, does wonderful storytime sessions in Zurich branch. They're extremely popular, and I know why. It's because of Nancy. Next, we have Lois Kennedy, and Lois brings to us a wealth of experience both in library systems and as a teacher. So she also is committed to creating interesting programming for adults and children in the libraries, and she keeps me on my toes. She always wants to do what's right and make sure that I'm questioning everything that I'm doing. Shannon O'Connor is a valuable member of our team. She is fabulous. She has a Instagram account that is widely read by people. She also had 2 book reviews in a recent library journal. So I'm really impressed with Shannon. She does a fabulous job. And then Melanie, who is our student page, she's a young student, but she is whip smart. She can do anything that we ask her to do, and she's been extremely easy to train, and she's a lovely girl. And I'm so glad that she's working with us. So when I was thinking about all the wonderful things that my team does and great people that they are, I started to feel undistinguished. What do I bring to the team? So I brought this little puppet that I made in 15 minutes because I was having a story time with a kindergarten, and I wanted to find something that would keep their attention because this story it's a bit long for kindergarten. So I thought, I know, I'll make a puppet. So on my coffee break, I went, found materials in the library and created a little puppet for my story time. And I think that shows that I can improvise, that I can be creative, that I can problem solve. And I think those are important qualities that people need when they're working in a library, because there's always something coming at you. You're always learning things. People are always bringing their problems to you, and you need to solve them. You can't just say, I don't know. You have to say, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Next slide, please. So we have a ton of partners with Central Team. So these are the organizations that we partner with. One of the most interesting ones we did this past winter, we partnered with the Salvation Army in Clinton. Their site in Clinton was closing over the Christmas holidays. So we had packages of food in the library so that people who are unable to get food any other way could come to the library and pick up food bundles. And people were very appreciative of that. We just had a very interesting partnership with Rural Response with Healthy Children. I went to the family dance and we had a craft table there, and I helped put together a quiet room with sensory toys and just a relaxing atmosphere. So anyone getting overwhelmed in the dance could come down to the quiet room. Of course, we have great partnerships with our municipalities, Central Huron and Blue Water. Central Huron's doing a ton for us at the Clinton Library right now, and Blue Water is always a delight. They're very responsive and helpful. We also partner with Blue Water with providing programming, and you'll see in some further slides some of the programming that we do with them. And then, of course, the schools. The schools depend on the local libraries to provide print materials to them, programming. So we often have class visits, or we'll do outreach to the schools and provide books to them. St. Anne's, not that long ago, we had a program with them where we had a special needs class whose needs weren't being met by the school library. So I would come to them, or they would come to me, and the students would pick up books that were at their level that they could use in their studies. Next slide, please. All right, so here's some of examples of some of our partnerships. So up in the top left, that is 4-H. They came to the library to do a sewing it's not really a class. They were earning, their sewing badges. I don't know the 4-H, but they were all learning how to use machines and sew. So we had a number of machines whirring away in the library, and some adult volunteers who were teaching them how to sew. So you can see there's the sewing machine set up. Middle top, that is Blue Water. So they did an amazing race, and the library was one of the stops at the amazing race. So they would have to, as their challenge, put books away on the shelf in the right place. So I give them a lot of hints so they can move on to their next location. It was a lot of fun. So that's the setup. They would have to come and pick up their stacks of books, and I explained the Dewey Decimal System to them before they got going. Top right, that was an immigration partnership activity where I went to the curling afternoon and provided a button maker and lots of toys. You can see the toys on the table there, and just let people know what the library can provide for them, but they already knew. So I mostly just had fun with the newcomers at that fabulous newcomer event. Next slide, please. Oh, these are some more. So this is a BIA, Central Huron BIA top left. That is Tiny Tot Parade. So you can see my coworker Nancy there in her amazing witch hat, handing out treats to tiny tots. We had a microscope program. It was part of a Youth in Action grant. So the young gentleman, Sam, who put that together, did a wonderful program for children to learn how to use a microscope. You may have heard of Sam in the news. He has also written a cookbook promoting Bayfield Food Bank. So I'd encourage you all to pick up that cookbook because he's a great kid. And then we also had Tanner Steffler Foundation support to bring a therapy dog to the Clinton Library during March break. So you can see how excited some of our patrons were to meet the therapy dog, and it was a wonderful opportunity. So we will partner with Tanner Steffler anytime. Next slide, please. So we have had a lot of programming since the last time I was here. We had some fabulous author visits. Terry Falls, that one was huge. People really enjoyed that one, and Terry is lovely. And then we had some local authors. We had the Fossil Guy. He was fabulous. And that was another program that was good for people of all ages. So people from seniors to toddlers were fascinated, and he was so passionate. I'd recommend him as well. I mentioned the story times. Lois Kennedy is providing gentle yoga in Zurich, and it's growing in popularity. So people can come to the library and relax and stretch. We've got lots of book clubs happening in Central Team. I think there's 3 at the moment. lots of March break programming, some of which you saw there. And then we always have passive programming. We always have coloring sheets. We always have a scavenger hunt. We always have toys and games that families can come to the library to enjoy. And both of our libraries are spots where people meet and they bring their children to play and they have a wonderful time. And we get a lot of compliments on our children's areas. Next slide, please. Oh, so here we are. So there's Terry Follis, top left. That is Joanne Levy, and she is a fabulous sort of middle grade author, so higher public school grades. She did a presentation for us and she was wonderful. She emphasized to the kids, you have to keep trying. She talked about how she tried to get, it was about publishing a book, how she had to keep trying and never give up, and that eventually she got published. So that was a very inspiring presentation. Bottom left is also Terry, but he was so great. I had to take 2 pictures of him. And then of course we have another author, relatively local author. She came from Toronto, Calissa Erb, and she wrote a very interesting book. And the main character was on the spectrum. So we had her during Neurodiversity Month, and she did a presentation for a very passionate group of watchers. Next slide, please. Thank you. So there's the fossil guy, and you can see we've got people of all ages enjoying his presentation. I took a lot of pictures of the fossil guy. It's hard to pick just one because I was also very passionate. So you can see he had so many fossils lined up on the tables for people to look at. And then to complement that, upstairs, I had fossil hunt in a little sand pit. So after the presentation, kids could go upstairs, hunt for fossils in our sand pit, and do a dinosaur craft. Next, please. So we have big changes in Clinton since the last time I spoke to you. We've gotten a beautiful circulation desk. It's really stylish and lots of space, and it's in a sunny corner. I hadn't realized how dark our workspace was before until we got a larger, brighter area workspace. We've got beautiful new shelving. It is stunning. I'm very happy with it. And new lighting. Clinton Branch was always a little bit dark. So the municipality was kind enough to put in some LED lights. They use far less energy and they're brighter. And we're this close to having a lift in Clinton. So that means that individuals with mobility issues can finally get up to the 2nd floor. So we're very excited about that. Next slide, please. So this is the old desk taken apart. So that is Richard, who is one of our van drivers, and he also does things around the branch to keep us going. And he was so lovely. He helped us take apart this Franken desk was cobbled together from a bunch of old pieces of stuff. And there's Nancy. They're having a moment, I think. So that's the desk taken apart. And that is our new desk. So you can see we've got lots of storage space behind. We've got beautiful windows to provide light. So those hanging lights you see there are now gone, and we've got some beautiful LEDs. Next slide, please. So you can see these are our lovely new lights. So they're all over the adult library and above the circulation desk. You can see the electrician there working away to put the lighting in. So what they did was they took some of the original tin ceiling panels, drilled holes in them, and then popped the LEDs through. Next slide, please. So this is an old picture of what our shelves used to look like, and the photographer enhanced the photograph quite a bit because it was never that bright. It was very dark. And now you can see our new shelving it was in process. So I have to really thank Jenny and Richard and the staff at admin for coming in and helping me to move all those books, to do the weeding, to make sure that our collection would fit in our beautiful new shelving. Next slide, please. So you can see this is the new shelving with the books in place. So the new shelving has our fiction collection, and then along and YA and large print, and then along the walls we have our nonfiction collection. So the team also put in some new shelves for me, moved things over, and then we got everything back on the shelves for the patrons. Next slide, please. So this is the lift in construction. So you can see they had to take out the window next to the lift to pour in the concrete. So there it is before the concrete was poured, and the workers working on it. there's been a lot of progress since these photographs were taken. The only thing we're waiting for now is our inspection, which is happening on the 20th. And after the 20th, we'll get some training on how to use the lift, and I'll be putting together some procedures for the staff on how to use the lift and when to use the lift. And then we will be able to provide a much more accessible experience for patrons. And we've got a lot of patrons who are quite excited. Next slide, please. And that's it. Thank you so much. I always enjoy coming to speak to Library Board, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Michelle. Does any board members have any questions or comments for Michelle? Sydney?
Just want to start by saying that was a fantastic presentation, Michelle. So thank you so much for coming today and presenting to us. I also want to comment, the Clinton Public Library is my home library and the one that I visit the most often. And the changes that you're talking about have really transformed the branch, as you said. I didn't realize, to your point, how dark it was, or even just kind of a little claustrophobic before walking up and down the aisles. But the new shelves and the new lighting and the new circulation desk, it's fantastic. Like, loved coming to the library before, but it's been such a great transformation.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that. Well, we love all the comments we're getting from our patrons. Yeah,
It's beautiful.
thank
So,
you. Thank you. And I should mention with the lift, I'm very grateful to Beth for pointing out a grant to the facilities manager for Central Huron, because then he applied for that grant and got the money, and that's what allowed us to have that lift. So I'm extremely grateful for that.
Yeah, amazing progress too. So thanks for the positive comment too, Sydney. It's always good to hear positive comments, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yes, I didn't bring it in. I was tempted to. Yesterday, a patron made us a beautiful craft to thank us for our service, for helping her. And I was going to bring it in to show you, but then I was late and I got lost. I left it in the car. But it was a lovely craft, and we get those sorts of gestures of appreciation all the time. People will make us things. They'll buy us coffees, bring us treats. So it is a wonderful place to work. The library is the absolute best place to work in the community, I think.
Yeah, we just had a bird crash into the window there. So, yeah. But, yes, any other questions from board members? Nick, and then I'll go to John after.
Figuring out the mute button. Sorry about that. I just wanted to say, I was thinking, Michelle, I think it's been about 10 years since I was a tech time student with the Central Library. And, it's, I was just thinking, the more things change, the more they stay the same, because it's very clear that Central's been in good hands with you at the helm ever since, because there's a part of me that's always going to miss the circulation desk and the extremely narrow bookshelves, but it's clear that things are just, they keep on going up for Clinton, so kudos.
Oh, thank you, Nick. I know, I think fondly of when you were our CAP student, when you were working with us. And I love seeing your progression as well. I love that you're at the meeting today. So I got a chance to see you.
Thanks for your comments, Nick. Councillor Becker.
I just want to comment, great presentation, and to see the needs of the library, the lighting and the shelving. I was in Park Hill a couple weeks ago, and their library there, and how bright it is, easier for the people to see. And I think it brings a warmth to the library, that people feel comfortable walking in and welcoming to them. So that's the important part of it. Thank you.
I agree. You're welcome. Both of my libraries are much lighter now. Like Zurich has lovely windows, skylights, so it's very bright and airy and welcoming. And now Clinton has more of that kind of aspect where you come in and you don't feel like the shelves are looming over you like a cliff. Thank you. Yeah, so I absolutely agree that having space and light is so important. And I'm very grateful that the administrative team, Jenny and everyone at admin has helped me create that welcoming atmosphere by helping me weed, by Like Jenny did all the heavy lifting with the shelving. All I did was say, yes, I like blue. I had very little to do with it. It was all Jenny. So I'm very, very appreciative.
Warden Heffer.
Yeah, Michelle, just wanted to ask with the new shelving and
Mhm.
quite a change in look.
Mhm.
Did it gain any more shelf space or just opened things up and made it a lot easier to work around?
So we didn't gain more shelf space. There's a little less space, but the main advantage is that now someone who has mobility issues, for instance, if you are using a wheelchair, you can now move freely throughout the library, whereas before someone got stuck because we have pillars. So now our shelves pinwheel out from the pillars, whereas before they provided a sort of barrier to get down the aisle between the shelves. So that's what I'm focusing on. That is the main advantage. Also, with the support of the collections team at administrative office, there were a number of items in the library that were like dead that hadn't circulated for quite some time. So the collection that we have now is higher circulating and it's tighter. So there are fewer things that are sort of sitting there for, without moving for a long time. So I'm very grateful for their assistance with that as well. That they moved everything? Yes.
No, that the shelves move.
Oh, the shelves move. Oh, I almost forgot. So another advantage of these shelves is that they have wheels on the bottom. So if we did decide to have, a Terry Follis in again, and we're going to have a big crowd, or if we did, Nerf gun fight, or if we had like teen karaoke night, we could move the shelves to create a very sizable space to provide space for programming or for meeting. So that's another very exciting thing about the shelves is that they are completely movable and we can transform our space anytime.
No, I think that's a real impressive change.
Yeah, for sure.
Very grateful. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from board members? Not seeing any hands, so I'll move to the recommended motion that Huron County Library Board receives the presentation as presented for information. Do I have a mover, please? Sydney moves, seconded by Nick. Okay, call the question. All in favor? Carried. Up next is board member comments. Do any board member have any comments at this time? Not seeing any hands. Hey Lou, look at that. Hi, huh? Well, we'll move to reports from library staff, and the first one is the PERF agreement, which is going to be presented by Beth.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. This is just the annual agreement that we sign with PERF South. So just looking for board member approval so that the board chair and myself can sign off on that.
Okay, so we'll just go right to the motion. Okay, any questions? No? Okay. So recommended motion here in County Library Board receives the report as presented for information, and further that the library board chair and CEO are authorized to execute the agreement with PERF South. Do I have a mover? Councilor Becker moves, seconded by Patricia. Any questions regarding this? Call the question. All in favor? All right, carried. Up next is the facility agreement with local municipalities. And that's Beth as well.
Thank you. So through you, Mr. Chair, this is something that was drafted in collaboration with local municipal staff. The intent being to clarify the expectations from both parties so that we have an agreement that works for everybody. We're happy with the final product. One piece that is Tanis, the branch manager for the South team, and I will be presenting to South Huron Council just at their request to bring a further update of kind of what's happened, similar to what Michelle did today almost, as far as what's happening in the South team there. So just looking for approval from the board to move forward then with signatures on the agreement.
Okay. Any questions regarding this from any board members? Okay, I'll read the recommended motion that Huron County Library Board receives this report as presented for information, and further that the Huron County Library Board approves the facility agreement with local municipalities, and further that the library board chair and CEO is authorized to execute the agreement with local municipalities. Do I have a mover for this, please? Warden Heffer moves and Jane seconds. Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Up next is the diversity, equity, and inclusion collection audit, and this is presented by Katie. Is Katie?
Unfortunately, Katie is sick
Okay.
today, so I will be speaking to that on her
Okay.
behalf. Which is unfortunate. She was very prepared and ready to speak to this for the board, so I will do my best to fill in her absence. But we are excited to present this report to the board. It is in response to one of our strategic priorities as far as ensuring that our collection is diverse and inclusive to everyone that lives in our community. We utilized Stats Canada statistics that were local to Huron County, as well as a Canada at a glance report to use as some of our benchmarks. Oh, Lubitsa, can you put up that the chart just so everyone can see it? It is in your agenda package, but we'll share it on the screen as well. A couple pieces of note is you can see in the chart that Lubitsa's pulling up, we've kind of highlighted the areas where we could continue to make improvements as far as meeting or getting closer to those benchmarks. So areas in language such as Southeast Asian, religion such as Buddhist and Muslim and Sikh. And then again, look, these are the Canada at a glance statistics, but our LGBTQ2S+ collection, as well as our, I'm looking for it, no, I'm not seeing it. Let me look at the report. No. Oh, our mental health and various abilities collections, that we can continue to make improvements there to move towards the benchmarks in the Canada at a glance report. One thing that I think is important to note, because certainly it would be interesting to track, and we've had discussions about this, the circulation of these materials. As Katie noted in the report, there are some instances such as people who English isn't their first language. However, they want to read in English to build those skills, and they aren't necessarily seeking materials in their first language. So I think we will continue to work to determine how we can track circulation. It's just a bit tricky to do that based on subject headings. Typically, it's based on collection type. So like adult fiction, we can certainly track the circulation of that, but to track the circulation of, materials that are about transgender individuals or Buddhism and those types of things can be more challenging. So that's something that we want to continue to work on and determine how we can do that. And then you can see in the report, we lay out some of the next steps that we would be looking to do. So we have already set aside in the 2025 budget some funds to specifically work on collecting materials that will move us towards some of those benchmarks. Again, working on tracking circulation, considering the staff comments that were made and some of the collection areas there that we need to consider, and then monitoring annually just to track how our collection statistics measure up against the Statistics Canada statistics as well. But happy to respond to the best of my abilities to any questions. And I can also certainly, if I cannot respond, talk to Katie and bring back answers for the board as well.
Okay, thanks. Is there any questions for Beth at this time regarding any of this? Seeing no hands, so I'll go to the recommended motion that Huron County Library Board receives the report as presented for information. Do I have a mover, please? Sydney moves and Jane seconds. Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Moving on to Council Strategic Priorities 2025 to 2026. F.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is just being shared with the library board for their information. We always want to work in alignment with county council, so I felt it was important that these updated priorities were shared with the library board.
And it was a good session as well for all of us. I want to thank Warden Heffer for, asking for that to happen once again. As his term has started as warden, it's good to, review everything that we're doing or what we want to do moving forward as well. Maybe there's some changes. So it was a good couple days together. Does anyone have any questions regarding this? Seeing some head nods. So, okay, I'll move on to the motion that Huron County Library Board receives a report as presented for information. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Becker moves, and then I'll go to Nick on the screen for seconding it. All right. All in favor? Carried. Monthly update, February and March 2025. Beth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There's just a few pieces from our monthly report that I will highlight for board members. First and foremost, and it's early in the report, Helena did send me some comments on agenda items, and one item that she noticed that we did not miss, but we missed, the conversation circles are hosted in both Exeter and Goderich. Goderich wasn't included in the report, but those do occur in both of those branches. And to that point, we are currently in discussions about what those will look like moving forward. They've been offered in partnership with the local immigration partnership, but due to their funding, they aren't able to support those anymore. It's just whatever's laid out in their agreement with the government and the restrictions on some of those funds. So we're just having discussions about how we can continue those. So they will probably look a little bit different moving forward, but they have been well received. So we want to try and do something in the future with those as well.
Okay, thanks, Beth. Any questions or comments regarding this from board members? Sydney?
I just wanted to comment on the communication piece here, regarding that e-newsletter subscription drive. I'm assuming the marketing and communications team was behind that. I want to say big kudos to them because that is fantastic to get 250 new subscribers in the month. I thought the initiative was really cool. I did see it online and in the branch, so that's phenomenal. And just even the numbers that were presented in this report as well. Talking about the actual like open rate and click rate for that email newsletter after the subscribers were added. It's just so exciting to see that the new additions to that email newsletter list are so engaged with the content. So again, please pass my kudos along to the team for that work. It was really cool to read that. So
Awesome. Love the positivity. Huh? Isn't it good to hear, Beth? Huh? Beth's like face, her smile just from ear to ear when Sydney was continuing to speak there. Any other comments, Patricia?
It's not, you reminded me of something when you mentioned that I should have mentioned under comments. I saw the Bob the Book video and it's awesome. So I just wanted to say that I was very happy with that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? Not seeing any. I'll move to the recommended motion that Huron County Library Board receives a report as presented for information. Do I have a mover, please? Sydney moves and Jane seconds. Call the question. All in favor? Okay, carried. Moving on to item 6, which is the May to June 2025 events outside library hours. Wow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, you've seen a similar type of report for events in the past. This is just updating a few that are coming up in very shortly, a couple of them that will be happening outside of regular library hours. They are using staff hours that are already included in the budget, so no impact there.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Councilor Becker.
Thank you. That's great to expand your hours to accommodate the people of our communities, because a lot of people work shift work, stuff like that. So to get their kids to Nerf battle schedules and stuff like that, it's good to expand the concept of the library to enhance that. Great. Keep up the good work.
And I'd also add that it makes people more aware of, there's things outside of the library that the library are also doing. It's not always just inside the library as well, right? So that's important. So any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll move to the recommended motion that Huron County Library Board accepts the report as presented for information. Do I have a mover, please? Nick moves and seconded by Patricia. Call the question. All in favor? Carried. So moving on to item 8, which is policy review. And the first one is the HR policy update, and that's Beth.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. The board did see this policy last month. I did receive one question from Helena just regarding if non-permanent staff can do certain online trainings, and the answer to that is yes. We have like our Ryan Dowd homelessness training that is part of onboarding for all staff, that they are given access to that, and they are definitely invited to things like our all staff day coming up. So it's not exclusive that non-permanent staff or our contract staff aren't included in any training. There are certain instances when they are included in training as well.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments for Beth regarding that? Seen any? Okay, so I'll look to the motion that Huron County Library Board receives a report as presented for information, and further that the Huron County Library Board approves the HR policy as outlined. Do I have a mover? Jane moves, seconded by Nick. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Moving on to number 2, which is the circulation policy update. Beth?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, the board saw this last month and it's just coming for final approval.
Okay, final approval. Any questions before final approval? I see Warden Heffer's ready to make that motion, so got a mover, and we have a seconder. I'll read it though. The Huron County Library Board receives the report as presented for information, and further that the Huron County Library Board approves the circulation policy as outlined, and further that the Huron County Library Board eliminate the replacement fee for lost library cards. So we have a mover moved by Warden Heffer. Do we have a seconder, please? Sydney seconds. Okay, call the question. All in favor? Carried. And number 3 is the draft information services policy update by Beth.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. This is the first time the board is seeing this policy. Shannon prepared the report and the policy, and I think she's done a good job of outlining the changes that have been made. So just any questions that board members may have.
Okay, any questions, comments? Pretty quiet group this morning, Beth. What's going on? All right, I'll move to the recommended motion that Huron County Library Board accepts the report as presented for information, and further that the draft information services policy be brought to the June board meeting for approval. Do I have a mover, please? Patricia moves, seconded by Councillor Becker. Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Item 9 is correspondence. There are none. 10 is the financial statements not available at this time. We do not have closed the public session. And the next meeting of the board is Thursday, June 12th, 2025 at 9 a.m. Right here where we are here today. And I will look for adjournment that the Huron County Library Board meeting adjourn at 9:36 a.m. And that is moved by Warden Heffer, seconded by Sydney. All right. Called question. All in favor? Here we go. We're done. There you go. Good meeting, everyone.